So, all right, you guys ready for a little bit of training? Does anybody have anything before? Because I'm gonna go to my notes here in a second. Anybody have anything else? One more thing I do want to say, really, we literally have 2 more weeks to finish the seminar year. And it's not really even just what we're finishing right now, the goals that we have, it is about setting us up for the new seminar year. So really start getting solidified. We're going to be doing a training, I think not this next, yeah, maybe, no, not this next week, but the week after, to really dial it in and talk about breaking down your goals for the new year, because everything starts over. We all go back to zero. Every unit director goes back to zero in Unit Club. Each of us go back to zero in our sales and recruiting. And you know, the national quota sharing, it was funny because Heidi said this the other day. She said, a whole lot easier to finish that by adding 2 new qualified per month than it is to try to get like 20 in the last month, you know, so they always have a cap on that anyway. So start thinking about really what you want to accomplish this next seminar year. When I was thinking about what we were going to do for training tonight, I really wanted to just talk about, well, first of all, you guys probably all agree right now that we're living in a world right now where there's so much change happening, where we really don't have a lot of control over the things around us and the life that's lifing on people. And, you know, April just had a really significant family loss, the last link to her mother, or one of her aunts, and there's like every day there's something happen. I had a car accident. I'm still struggling quite a bit with that. I don't like to talk about it too much, but you know, there's just, everybody seems to be going through something, or you know somebody who is. And so, you know, when things around us are really chaotic, one of the things that we can do is really benefit from controlling the things that we have control over in our life, rather than focusing all the things that we can't change or that we really can't do anything about it. We can just hold love and compassion and try to stay positive. As you know, somebody said earlier, is just staying positive sometimes is you know, getting through the day and staying in a positive place. So I'm not trying to do the Eeyore thing, but I'm just hearing a lot about what people are going through. So, you know, some things that we can do to just create structure around us and stay grounded, and also in forward momentum. And one of the biggest things, you know, benefits of this business is that we have 100% flexibility. And we can control our own schedule. We can work whenever we want. That can also be the biggest downfall. If you've never learned the art of disciplining yourself, then, you know, I always say, if you don't learn to discipline yourself, then you're going to work for somebody else for the rest of your life who will do it for you, at least through your working years. So one of my favorite quotes always in Mary Kay is, your success is hidden in your daily routine. And so that's something that I used to really pride myself on, is really focusing on setting up structure, setting up discipline. I kind of am wired that way. I like to have freedom and choice for sure, but I like to create my own sense of discipline and structure so that I feel productive and I feel great at the end of the day, that I've really kind of used myself up and been a vehicle for divine energy to be able to help people in lots of different ways. So we get to do that every day through our business, make people look and feel pretty. So one of the things, you know, I've had a lot of success in Mary Kay. I've been in Circle of Achievement Director every year, and almost every year on the National Court of Sales. You know, I've always had at least 10 to 12 or more team members every year. And so even whether I was working a ton of hours or not a ton of hours, once you build momentum, you get to kind of multiply your efforts from what you've done before. So I really just want to share things with you that I've done consistently over the years, and sometimes have to remind myself to come back to some of them that I get away from. Sometimes we go, why did I stop doing that? It worked so well back then, because we get sidetracked. So these are ways to create a super successful business for yourself personally in your sales and your team building, and as a director to be a top director, you know, with unit club status and all of those things. So these are just some of the things that I've set up for myself to create harmony and success at the same time. And trust me, I've had a lot of phases during my career with Mary Kay that have been very challenging. And sometimes it's caused me to really pivot in certain areas of my life. But, you know, the nice thing, even if you put Mary Kay a little bit on the back burner, as long as you don't stop, you don't have to lose the momentum for what you've built. So here's just some of the tips that might be helpful. Okay, not just in Mary Kay, but to live a balanced life in all areas. And Mary Kay, we always say, is, kind of balance is actually kind of an illusion, because sometimes balance means, you know, sometimes you're going to spend more time on a new job or a new baby or a new project or something going on in your family than you are your business. Sometimes your business is going to take precedent when you have a really big goal, like you're winning a car or you're going to the next level or you're becoming a director. So I've been working a lot with my functional medicine doc as I mature and age, just to really get healthy, with my gut and my hormones and all the things. And one of the things there's a book that I read about your circadian rhythm, and it's called the Circadian Code. And the reason I bring this up is this is something new that I've introduced into my schedule, which is getting up in time to get at least 5 minutes, or more of natural light, that first light of the sun. And there's all these complicated graphs about the different color behind the spectrum at different times of the day. But natural light for an hour a day is hugely beneficial to your body in making, the peptides, the hormones, metabolism, and also, at nighttime, melatonin, to be able to kind of clean up the organs in the system at night and help you to have a really good night's sleep. So that's something I have added, is getting up, going outside, standing outside, or taking a walk with Cooper, trying to do that first morning. I don't get up at 5 o'clock, but I'm getting up a little bit earlier so that I can go out and do that now. Rather than getting up at 7, I'm trying to get up about 6:30 to make sure I catch that. And then going out also at dawn. And if you can catch a sunrise, that's always really, really good. So those are just some new things that I'm doing. The other piece, stop having any blue screen time. This isn't Mary Kay stuff, but this is really helpful. Any blue screen time up to an hour before you go to sleep. And she actually prescribed me to get these red lens blue screen blockers. And she gave me all these wonderful reasons that made me actually follow through on it this time. And so I'll put those on at about 9 o'clock at night so the body starts to make melatonin. And I also stop eating 3 hours before I go to bed. And that was kind of my thing before. I would snack at night. I'd want to reward myself for a long day. I sometimes wouldn't eat all day, but then I'd want to eat later at night. But then your body and your organs are having to digest and process, so it can really break up that rest and digest time. So again, these are just some more physical things that could really help. But you can get the little red lens blue light blockers right on Amazon. They're not super expensive, like $29. And as soon as you put those on, your body starts to get the message that it's time to start winding down, and the body starts to make the melatonin, which is like the little janitor that cleans up all your organs and body systems at night and restores you. So those are 2 new things that I've been doing for the past month. So that's the first thing. The next thing I wanted to talk about, first of all, it's like Dennis and I were walking a couple days ago. And I go, oh my God, in 3 more months, I'm gonna be 61. I just turned 60. We both just turned 60, but now we're gonna be 61. Like, where did that minute go, in between? Because, hours lead up to days, days add up to weeks, weeks add up to months, months add up to be the end of the year very, very quickly. So my recommendation is schedule the things into your calendar that are important to you. Schedule everything. And I have a really busy schedule, and I schedule a lot of my time, and I love being intentionally productive. We're all busy. I don't even like when people try to project, you're so busy. I like it that way. I love it that way. However, sometimes the important things, and self-care being one of them that I'm really having to practice right now, get put on the back burner because you're so focused on, pumping up tires and putting out fires. So really schedule the things into your calendar that are important to you. And, one of the things that I have really been trying to do is take either Saturday or Sunday, depending on what's going on that weekend, to literally have a bit of a rest day. And I schedule in the times to follow up. I'm scheduling in, the things that need to get done, coaching calls and things like that. And then schedule in just a little bit of time on Sunday night to do either a weekly plan sheet if you are working off of that, but for sure to put together your weekly accomplishment sheet, because that is your accountability. No matter what your goals are in the business, sitting down, getting that turned in, that'll keep you honest, that'll keep you accountable, even if you had 0 sales. Because then we get to see that, we get to see who's, even if you just sold a little bit, and it keeps a running total. It keeps it real simple for you. If you're working with my customers, you can populate it from there by putting in all those invoices and sales that you have. But that, we did everything by hand back in the day, but now we can just plug that in, and then that'll keep year-to-date totals for you so that you can see if you're on track for, either the national court or maybe even the Mary Kay National Area Court, the Go Give Court, or where you are in the unit. You get newsletters every month from our unit, and so it'll tell you kind of where you're ranking, except for we kind of keep it a secret the last couple months. But getting those weekly accomplishment sheets done, when I hear people say, well, I tried Mary Kay, but I really didn't make that much money, then you really have to get honest with yourself and go, what did I put into it? How much did I work? What were my sales? From my perspective, it's never been easier than it is right now to sell this product. I mean, it happens everywhere you go. And even if you're not actively trying, there are ways that you can introduce the products, the company, really you're the thing that people are buying. You're the service of a consultant and having somebody that people like. That's why people buy from you rather than going down to the store. So it's never been easier to sell. And I'm going to break something down in a minute with that for you. So, keep track of it. Keep track of the sales, because if you're not making money, really get honest with yourself. Like, how much am I really putting in? And am I holding any appointments, or am I making any calls? We're in a business where, people mean to get around to it, but they're not always going to call you. I have a lot of customers who do that I know are going to call, and there's some that just pop up, and then there's some that just text me. So you kind of get to know your customers, but there's a lot of people that they're not going to call you. You need to follow up with them. And a good time to always do that is during preferred customer program when they've gotten their lookbook, just as a reason to follow up with them. Did you get your book? Do you see anything that you can't live without? Are you running short on any of your skincare? Blah, blah, blah. So those are some things, but really Sunday night, sit down and do that weekly accomplishment sheet so you can really track yourself and see how are you doing. Okay, number 3, this is a must. At least 6 days a week, I do this. Week in, week out. I've done it for years and years. Listen to positive affirmations in your own voice. And again, the science of it is 3 times a day for at least 30 days of saying something to yourself. That's what it takes to kind of rewire a thought pattern in the brain. 3 times a day for 30 days. It may take longer if it's a pattern that's been there for a really long time. And when I do my affirmation tape, I change it every year. So I'm about to change it again for the new seminar year. But I have things on there for my personal, my health, like, working out, how I eat, for my, so health and weight, spiritual, financial, personal, career, and relationships. So I have all of those areas in my life covered, and just maybe 1 or 2 statements for each area of my life that I say to myself with some nice music in the background. And every day I listen to it in the morning, either when I'm working out or, after I get out of the shower. That's usually my time, or even sometimes if I'm on a walk with Cooper. So positive affirmations are life-changing. I am proof. And I believe in it so much, because this 6 inches, as Mary Kay said, is the most important thing. Our work is not hard. The marketing plan is not hard. The business is simple, but it's really, we always say the work we do is not the work we do in Mary Kay, it's a work we do on ourselves. And so affirmations are a way to redirect and keep in front of you what it is that you want to focus on, rather than what's not happening, which is what we do a lot of time. We're kind of wired a little bit for negativity. We have a reptilian brain, this amygdala, that's been hijacked into fight or flight or freeze. And so often, instead of focusing on the positive, especially with the input around us and the news and the things happening, so many people get knocked out of, off of their path and begin to start having fears and doubts and worries, and pretty much you're giving energy to what you don't want. So this is something I have done literally for years since I've learned about it. And it has helped me to create the life that I live now, and continue to create and expand through positive affirmations in all areas. And so it needs to be first person, present tense. So I am statements are really, really important. And then positive. So basically in this now moment, because we create in this now moment. And I really encourage you to put statements that really bring up emotion for you, because and also pictures and visual images, because that's how the subconscious works. It'll take direction on the positive. It actually responds to positive stimuli. And also we create in this moment. We can't create from the past or the future. And then the pictures are what hold it in your vision. And then your subconscious connects to your conscious, which connects to your superconscious. So it's even a good idea to do your affirmations at night, because then at nighttime, your subconscious goes to work to give you solutions for whatever it is that you're working on in whatever area. It's really magical. So, and I can tell you, everything I'm sharing with you are the things that I do or have done consistently. So the next thing, and ever since I've been doing it, I think over 10 or 12 years now, I listen to the $1 Million Hotline, and at least 5 days a week, there's a message on there. Sometimes someone will forget, and then Kelly DeBlender's, hers Friday message goes through the weekend typically. And then if you don't catch it on that day, which I listen to it in the morning before I do my affirmations every single day of the week. I don't listen on the weekend usually. But you can also join, there's a $1 Million Messenger Facebook page where they're all recorded. And oftentimes they'll post on there some of the handouts or things that might go along with some of the topics that they're talking about. They're actually supposed to, I know they don't always, but they're supposed to keep it under 10 minutes. And it's just a shot in the arm. And so many times it's not just about Mary Kay, it's things that are going to help you in your life. And so I'm pretty sure the phone number, the phone number, if you don't have it, let us know and put it in the chat, because I think periodically we have it on the announcements and or in the Voxer group. But listen to that hotline message. It's daughters of the national sales directors. Most of them have done $1 million in sales at least one time in their career. And the Thursday one, of course, is National Sales Director Kristen Sharp. So these women have been raised in the pink bubble. They know what they're talking about. They loved enough their mom's opportunity. They decided to follow in their mom's footsteps, because even though many of them went to college and decided to go out and work in the real world, they're in Mary Kay. I loved listening to Lisa Madsen's daughter, because she was a holdout, man. She just was not going to do Mary Kay. Now she's a director in Mary Kay and doing very, very well. So, keep it in mind that the people that you're listening to are surrounded by very successful women, either moms, sisters, aunts, or both, who have created a lot of success and that have the life that they want. And they're there to really share those things with us. Okay, number 5. Listen regularly to Mary Kay training. I think sometimes we rely on, these meetings, which are great for training. But Mary Kay has so much training online on MK Confident. Even if you are a seasoned consultant, it's kind of set up for new consultants. Go back and watch that, you guys. I went through the whole entire program and was blown away at how it's structured. So I could see what the new consultants would be going through. So the MK Confident, if you've never done it, I encourage you to go through that. And of course they have the Skincare Confident, Color Confident, and now Clinical Solutions Confident. There's also Mary Kay University, the MK mobile learning app that you can have on your phone. And then what I've been doing for the past probably 5 or so years is I just get out my recorder on my phone and record a lot of the speeches and classes from career conference, seminar, and leadership. So I like to go back and listen to one a day. And usually they're not super long. Some are a little bit longer than others. But it's kind of that mental daily bath that Tammy Craig always talked about, get a booking a day, affirmations, training, and hotline. And we're going to talk about the booking part in a minute. And so there's a lot of online modules, but learn your craft, learn about your products. There's changes happening, a little bit of prices here and there. There's new products coming out. One of the ways that you can is if you want to print off all of the product knowledge sheets, they're in PDF form, and put them in page protectors and have a notebook. And then anytime a new one comes out, really study and learn the key ingredients and kind of who it's recommended for and what makes it special. Because so much of Mary Kay's product it's all proprietary. So there's a lot of really fun ingredients and patents that they have on the things that we make that really, really work. So anyway, I got off track, but Mary Kay training, take it upon yourself. This is your business. And it's not really anybody, it's not the company or your recruiter or your director's responsibility to help you learn, although we do a lot, we provide a lot for that. So take that initiative so that you can create a really successful business for yourself by learning what you need to learn. Maybe just identify what are the areas of my business that I have opportunity for growth in, and then pick those topics and go find stuff. There's so much. It's almost like we're overtrained, but it's all available out there for you. So listen regularly, at least something each day, to some kind of Mary Kay training or motivation. Number 6, schedule in the time to do the bookings every day. So 10 calls or texts per day is typically going to get you 1 to 2 bookings a day. And honest to goodness, it does not take that much time to call or text or send a direct message or a messenger to 10 people. Sometimes, back in the day, we made it this big old deal, and we'd do it on Sunday night, and we'd pick the time when we felt like most people were at home and in a good mood. And it became a little bit sometimes cumbersome or a chore. And nowadays, we can text any time of day. Like, I try not to call or text after 9 p.m. or before like 9 a.m. That's 9 to 9 is kind of the time that I will call and text people or follow up. So, but schedule time to do that. You can do it on a break if you work full time. You can do it on a lunch break. You can do it after work before you go home if you have kids at home. So just make the commitment to do that. If you've got babies when they're sleeping, that's the most important, as Mary Kay said, that's the lifeline of your business. If you're out of bookings, you're out of business. And 5 on your books at all times means you're probably going to hold 2 to 3 per week, so make that your goal if you're wanting to grow. Number 7, depending on how you like to work, schedule the time in for coaching up, coaching parties, for following up with preferred customer program customers, team members. Like, if you have an hour, mark out an hour. If you're not the kind of person that has an hour in the day to do that, maybe it's 10-minute time blocks like we talked about. In my career, I've watched so many different people rise to the top, even to national, and they've done it so many different ways. Some people, depending on what season of life that they were in when they started, and I know I've done it lots of different ways, depending on, when I started, it was mostly in the day, not much at night at all. Now I do a lot of evening, after 5, I guess, stuff. And I love working on the weekends in Mary Kay. Mary Kay's my fun. So, find the time, but also you can give yourself some breaks as well. For me, I personally like to get a lot of my personal time in the morning. So the next topic on number 8 is to walk or exercise or stand on the grass or move your body several times a week. I'm the type who really, really enjoys exercising. Some people hate it. Mary Kay, she always used to say, the next time you decide you're going to go start a new workout, she goes, give me a call, I'll talk you out of it. She was so funny. However, walking, exercising, standing on the grass, it helps ground you. It helps you to clear maybe energy or things you've picked up from other people that you care about. Of course, it's going to be, depending if you're doing resistance training, it's going to help to build bone density. Some of us are getting into that season of life where we need to be concerned about that. But for me, I'm kind of crabby if I don't get a chance to do something, even if it's just a walk with the dog. But exercising, doing maybe going to yoga, those kinds of things. But moving your body, and you guys, nowadays, you don't even have to have a club membership. You just turn on your YouTube and anything you could ever imagine, including weight training, yoga, Zumba, it's all on there. You don't need a personal trainer necessarily. You don't need to even join a club. Some people like that. I like to go to the club and have the accountability and meet people. So it's up to you, but get your body moving. That's key if you want to stick around, and be here to do your business for a long time. Not to mention, help you to be healthier and things like that. Number 9, have a monthly goal and then schedule the activity that lines up with it. So pick a goal that really excites you, that you're passionate about. Don't pick a goal just because it seems popular, it's what everybody else thinks you should do, or if it's a challenge that they gave you at seminar. If it's not something that you're going to do, don't set yourself up for a failure there. You want to give yourself as many wins as you can. So if you're not willing or able to do the amount of activity for that goal, change the goal or the time frame, but keep that goal in front of you. That's why we do the vision boards. That's why we have, screensavers on our phones. And then also share it with other people. Let your customers know, let your team members know, let our unit know, put it on Voxer. That really helps to keep you honest and keep you accountable with it. But if you don't have a monthly goal, you're probably not going anywhere. That's just, and Mary Kay said, you really can't stand still. You end up going backwards after a while. So have some kind of a monthly goal. Okay, number 10, I remember we kind of did this during COVID. Do your hair and your skincare, even if you put your hair up somehow. I do my little twisty thing a lot in the summer, but do your hair and skincare and makeup and dress appropriately for whatever you're doing for the day. Doesn't mean you have to be in a skirt if you're going to work out, right? Doesn't mean you even have to be super dressed if you're going to the grocery store, but look the part. You never know when an opportunity is going to come up for you to make a connection. And I go to the bank, like I went literally into Kiln last night for a graduation for my students that I did in the spiritual classes this last round. And there were 3 different maids in there and they were all so friendly. And one of them said, I just want to tell you, she said, you always look so nice. You always look so good. The same thing, there was one gal in there working and she goes, oh my God, you always look so cute. She goes, you just always have something pink on. She noticed that. I guess I do have a lot of pink. I love pink. But wherever you are, I used to dress just a little bit of a notch up. That's kind of the rule of thumb. Instead of underdressing, overdress a little bit. Dress to stand out just a little bit. Make people kind of wonder, what are you doing? What are you up to? One person that I see that always does that is April. Like she always looks like $1,000,000, no matter where I see her, unless we're at the pool in her swimsuit and cut off jeans, right? Or retreat. But dress to stand out, take it up a notch. And the rule of thumb again, whatever you're doing, we are in the beauty industry. So don't you feel better? I feel better. Like I did some things this morning. I had a lot of self-care stuff and a hair appointment and I didn't feel that, and I had worked out. I just didn't feel good until I came home and actually showered. I just had to do that. And I just feel so much better. You're in the beauty industry. You want to look like somebody who people would want to take advice from. Skincare or beauty or, whatever it is that you're focusing on. So look the part. Again, doesn't mean you can't wear leggings and all that. It doesn't mean you have to wear full on makeup to go work out, but be appropriate for wherever you are, but take the time to get up and get dressed and get cute. Okay. Number 11, take God as your partner. Bill Cantrell always talked about getting your to-do list from God and starting out your kind of prayer time in the morning to really ask for direction and to surrender, but ask for what you want. Be in the question. You're not in this alone. And Mary Kay said, take God as your partner. If God gave you a dream, you'll also be given all the resources and the people and circumstances to make it happen. And you're the only one who can fulfill the dream that God gave you. So take that into consideration and just remember that you're not alone. You have guidance, you have help on the other side, so to speak. If you're here, it's because it's where you're supposed to be. I don't like where it's supposed to, but this is where you are. This is the choice you've made. And so ask for what you want, ask to have wonderful sales and to make a difference in somebody's life and to help that hostess get the most amount of free product and whatever it is. Ask for, who could I reach out to find my next hot shot who wants to get in her red jacket and become a director, those kinds of things. So, really kind of live in that vision and not currently your reality in your business, but really take God as your partner. And I always say leverage the universe, because when you start asking those questions and being in the question, you'll be surprised at who pops up in your mind. Like Haley, the gal that I invited the other night, my 2 other guests backed out and I went, I got to find somebody. And she popped into my head because I remember the week before she said she really was, she would work all day, go home and go to bed. She lives alone. She doesn't have any roommates anymore, doesn't have a boyfriend. And I just said, come join us for some fun. So you just never know. So just listen to that direction and that guidance, but be in the question of who needs what you have to offer. Number 12, stay or have positive expectancy without attachment. Okay. Sometimes, you know, we don't want to be attached, but we get really attached to how and when and the how to's and the wherefores. But you want to have positive expectancy going into an appointment or finishing out a big goal at the end of the month without attachment as to how it's going to happen. This is one thing Ann used to always say, my senior director. She said, God's delay is not God's denial. So we really can't get above divine timing. Sometimes we need to learn a little bit more before we're going to go to that next level, for us to be able to sustain what it is that we're building. So, you know, another Mary Kay-ism is work as if it's all up to you and pray as if it's all up to God. So, you know, if you're putting in the effort and you know that you did, you can feel good at the end of the day or the end of the month, no matter where you landed with your goals. It may just not be lining up perfectly because there's more for you to learn. There's a part you're playing for the other people. It's part of your I story. You can, coming through the other side, tell people I went through that too. And you know what? I just kept on going. And guess what? Here I am. So I will tell you this from experience, and I promise you, every bit of effort that you put in is going to come back to you. And it's going to come back to you exponentially if you write it out and just ride the wave and the ups and downs in Mary Kay, and just keep going, just keep offering, just keep sharing. Even if you haven't done up to this point what you'd like to do, just start over. You get to start over every single day, and you know, just get yourself a new direction and have positive expectancy without attachment. Number 13, this is a biggie. Be really discerning about who you spend your time with and what you consume. Pam Shaw always says, what entertains you, trains you. So what are you watching on TV? What are you listening to? What are you consuming? What are you, you know, around people that have a lot of drama, that gossip a lot, who are negative, those kinds of things, even if it's family. So there's the saying, you become like the 5 people that you spend the most time with. Be really discerning. If there's somebody in your life, unfortunately, even if it's family, you know, limit your exposure to the people that really drain your energy and drag you down. When I was in India, one of the teachers, Preethaji, said, you know, we can't escape our parents and our family. They're in us, right? We're all connected. But she said, if you have a toxic or abusive relationship, you don't have to be in it. You don't have to be around those people, but, you know, heal your own inner conflict with them so that you're not holding on to anger and unforgiveness, because that takes a lot of energy to hold on to. And there's a saying, you know, when you have anger, it's like taking poison, or unforgiveness or resentment. It's like taking poison and expecting the other person to die. And another big one is judgment. You know, there's a book out that everybody keeps talking about. I haven't opened it yet because I'm finishing another one, but it's called Let Them. And it's from Mel Robbins, who we've talked about some of her trainings. I got a chance to see her at the Hay House Summit a couple years ago. She was the keynote speaker. Love her practical way of talking about human behavior and backing it up with science. And so I haven't read the book, but I get the gist of it. So, you know, other people are going to be who they are. They're going to, you know, they're doing the best they can with what they have, with where they are. Sometimes it might not seem like it. So don't get caught up and suffer because other people are not who you want them to be. You may not have had the mom or the dad or the sister or the, you know, the boss or the children that you always wanted. Sometimes we have to go outside of those circles to find people that really are in alignment with who we are. And it doesn't mean that you have to cut people out of your life, but be an allowance of who they are. Don't be in judgment, because that takes you out of alignment with your path. But also be discerning and protective of your time and who you spend it with and who you're exposing yourself to. Okay, number 14, I just got a few more. Have fun with this and don't take it so seriously. If it becomes, you know, a place of guilt or obligation, or where you're efforting, guess what? You're going to go into resistance. So keep it light, keep it fun, and remember, we have something great to offer. I think sometimes we get it backwards, and we think, especially when we're finishing a big goal, that, you know, why isn't anybody playing? Why isn't anybody hosting right now? Why are my consultants not working? We do that sometimes as directors. Well, you know what? They're doing the best they can with what they have, with where they are, with their goals. And so we are not limited. We can go find new people. We can go find new customers. We can go find new team members. So have fun. Don't take it too seriously, because if you're having fun and you're exhibiting that, people will want to do business with you. They're going to wonder what you're up to and go, I want her life. I want to hang around her. I want to be in her circle. So keep it light, keep it fun. Don't take it so seriously. It's not to say that you don't want to stay focused, but you don't want to get too attached to how and when things happen. 15, track your activity. Okay, there's a saying in Mary Kay again. These are all Mary Kay-isms, that a tracked number grows. So you need to know where you are as you progress towards your goals, especially, a monthly or a yearly goal. So I'm really going to encourage you, though, to track your weekly sales. This is why, other than the second quarter I was in Mary Kay, I've never missed Star Consultant. I've never missed it. And we literally did these T-sheets where we would put hours on one side, dollars on the other. And my goal, because I didn't really know what I wanted in Mary Kay, was to sell $300 a week. $300 a week, and that was back when we had a $56 basic skincare set, and that was 5 steps. And like a complete collection might have been $120 or $122. That was all skincare and color. That was like the whole face. Now that would be $300 to $400. So a $300 week is all that it takes to maintain Star Consultant status. Why wouldn't you want to stay focused on that and get a prize every single quarter? Better yet, have a little bit more and do 700 wholesale a month. Have like a $350 week. It's not that hard. It's not that hard to do it with one order, one facial nowadays. We used to have to do 2 parties to be able to have enough to do a $300 week. An average party was $150. I would say it's well over $300 now. So again, I just want to encourage you to track it, because that's how you know if you're on target for it. Again, if it's not your goal, that's okay. But why wouldn't you want to be a Star Consultant and get a really wonderful prize, once a quarter, or a big one at the end of the year? And so, if you're tracking it, then, maybe you're $30 away from the goal that you had for the week and you missed it. You could have gotten one more sale and made that happen to really track for whatever your monthly goals are. And then if you're tracking for any of the courts. So I just really encourage you to just keep track of your weekly sales, and on a whiteboard, whatever, that's going to help you make the monthly goals, and that's going to help you make the yearly goals. And then the final thing I want to share is work from attraction and promotion, okay? So we don't want to get into efforting of working really, really hard, because when you're in that push and trying to make things happen, you can push it away from you. In other words, be willing to do the work, but also work on your inner alignment and your joy and your gratitude. Come from a place of abundance. If it's been done before, if others are doing it, so can you. Mary Kay always said the top paycheck or the top unit club, all of those have never been paid and have never been met. Records are being broken all the time. I'm going to add one more thing. I lied. Okay, I said 16 was the final one, but I want to add one more thing that I do. So one of the things that when I was building my business initially, sometimes I would get too much in the push and too much in the efforting. And Bill Cantrell really helped me, get more into alignment. So then you're in the place of attracting. Instead of having to have your hand on every little thing to make things happen, you get into alignment of what it is that you want to receive when you're in a place of joy, when you're in a feel-good place, not when you're in a suffering place of, dang it, it's not happening, it's not working, I'm putting all this effort in, it's not happening. And I was there at times. But when I started to really learn to, again, leverage the universe, be in alignment, and be in a state of gratitude, and this is the final thing, number 17, as much as you possibly can. One of the ways to really instantly shift your vibration and to get into alignment is to be in a place of gratitude. It can change things in a nanosecond in terms of turning around the ship of what it is that's showing up for you. We create our own economy and we create our own reality, not just in Mary Kay. So whatever you are not just thinking, but feeling and then taking inspired action on, that's what's going to come to you. So if you're thinking and feeling like it's not enough, nobody wants to work, nobody wants to book it summer, blah, 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 well, there's still people out there booking, then that's what you're going to attract. And especially if you're in a place of frustration, anger, resentment, and we all go through that emotional wheel. We have moments, but just try to get yourself out of it quickly if you find yourself spiraling, and focus on the gratitude of what Mary Kay's brought into your life. I look back over the last 36 years and, I look a year ago or 2 years ago or 5 years ago or 10 years ago, and I see the phenomenal growth and how much easier and effortless my business is today than it was when I was doing it before. And not just because we didn't have computers and all that stuff, but because of the tools, the technology, but also because I've really learned to manage my inner world. Because your inner world and your inner reality is what you're going to be attracting into your outer world. So if you don't like what you're seeing that's showing up in your life, what needs to shift? What needs to pivot? What do you need to learn? Okay. I'm going to open it up for discussion in 1 second, but I want to give you a little challenge, not necessarily for a prize, but if you're really sick and tired of being sick and tired, which somebody said when we first got on tonight, if you really want to make change, then you'll do these things. These are just a few of the things. Number one, get up, have your morning routine, get cute, get out the door, get into activity. I do prayer and meditation. I meditate and pray. And then I take a walk and then I go work out and I do my affirmations and hotline while I'm doing that, or while I'm showering, get whatever that routine is, get your to-do list from God and get yourself in a good place of alignment before you start taking any action. Number two, listen to the hotline and daily affirmations every single day, not just once a day. You could do it 3 times a day. I do mine 3 times in the morning in case I never get back to it for the day. But then at the end of the day, number 3, end your day with gratitude for at least 3 things for that day, whether you write it down or just kind of have an evening prayer and state what you're grateful for. Because whatever you're grateful for, whatever you actually express that you're grateful for, you get more of. Whatever miracles have happened in your life, when you talk about it and you share it with others, you get more and they get more. So that's number 3, is end the day with gratitude. And then number 4, just on Sunday, take a few minutes to complete and send in your weekly accomplishment sheets. Then if you're a little bit short, guess what? You can get on that phone, do a follow-up call, send a text to somebody, or have a family member buy something, or you buy it yourself so that you can stay on track for those weekly sales. I don't recommend you pay yourself though. So those are just some things that have been incredibly beneficial and helpful for me over the years. I mean, there's probably more. Those are some of the most important things that I literally just let this all come up for me of like, what do I do in my life? What have I done to create success with a very productive and busy and fruitful life? Okay. So thanks for your guys' attention on that. Are we staying on time here? Oh, we're right on time. But if anybody has anything to share, let me know. Just, we've got some stuff in the comments here.
Denise, that was so good. And it was exactly what I needed to hear. That was really good. Thank you. And I wanted to say hi to Heather to you guys. She's my newest consultant. She's on with us tonight. And this was actually something that she really needs right now too.
Oh, Heather, hi. We'd love to see your beautiful face. There's some great information on the chat, so you guys check it out. The phone number for the hotline, all kinds of things here. Okay, I'm gonna go back and look at that. Heather, Heather's a brand new team member of Heidi's. So I'm not sure if she's able to get on here.
She is actually bounced. I think she's got her kids with her right now, but she is like, her apartment flooded.
Oh, there she is.
Yeah.
Hi.
So she has been bouncing from
Oh,
hotel to Airbnbs.
oh
And
my
it's been
goodness.
crazy. But you're muted, Heather. If you unmute yourself, I know they'd love to hear from you.
Hello. Sorry, I look horrible right now.
Welcome, Heather. Welcome. We're so glad to have you
Thank
on
you.
here.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you, because you live here somewhere, right?
Yes, I live in Cuna.
Okay, wonderful. We're not too far from there where we meet when we do live events, but we're so glad to have you on here, and welcome to our unit and to Heidi's team.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited. I've had a little bit of a hiccup and a bump in the road, but as soon as we're back at home and the flood issue is taken care of, then ready to hit the ground running.
I saw I think I saw your picture, your before and after picture on Heidi's phone. She didn't publish it anywhere, but she was so excited about having you on her team. And so I'm glad you got a chance to make it on tonight. Thanks for showing up.
Thank you. Yeah, she's amazing. I've absolutely just loved talking to her and getting to know her. And so I'm excited. Yeah.
Welcome. And
Thank you.
I'm going to go through the chat really quick. So we don't have a national sales director. We're part of the Mary Kay National area. Kelly said I needed this topic. And lots of welcomes for Heather. And I needed this more than ever. Oh, thank you, Heather. Loving the training. April was talking about when she was visiting her out in the hospital. There was a female chaplain, and she said in front of everyone to my cousins, "Do you always wear dresses?" Then my cousin said, "Yes, do you?" I said it was most of my wardrobe, and it makes me feel good. And, you know, even women will open a door for me. It does give you a step up in your day. And that's, yeah, I was sharing about, you know, Heather, about April, and always looking like $1,000,000. So,
Thank you.
Cantrell, what entertains you trains you. Yes, we feel more confident when we look cute, you know, and so many times in my career, not just now, but especially even when I was taking Jesse to school and things like that, I ended up getting team members and also recruits from people going, "What do you do?" You know, because they look at you as an executive, which you are. You're a self-employed business person. So check out, Heidi put the Facebook page link and the $1,000,000 messenger thing here in the comments. Some people were asking, so hopefully you got a chance to dig in there and look at that. And you guys, I wanted to share, you know, the things that I shared. These are things that I do. These are things that I have done consistently for a lot of my life. And Mary Kay taught me this. You know, I worked with a mom who did the womb to tomb accounting job. I worked in her office, and I was doing taxes by the time I was out of high school. It put me through college because I started doing that for Channel 4. And while I was in school doing it, I thought, I don't want this life. I don't want this schedule. And so I tried a few different other things. And only coming into Mary Kay did I learn that there were options, that we could discipline ourselves, that we could learn like how to structure our lives so that we could create, because I went to a meeting today, and I was asked, you know, what do you do? And I was talking about, and people are amazed that you can actually make a living at Mary Kay. And I said, many, many people do. So it's available for whoever chooses it. But whatever you're doing in your business, you can build something over time. It's not a guarantee, but start by starting now and creating, you know, your success is hidden in your daily routine. So create your life around all these different areas that are important to you, and get a goal first and foremost. And maybe it's a 2-week goal. Maybe it's finishing up those 30 faces or those 100 faces, or, you know, getting enough to get one of those orders in so you can get some of those beautiful prizes that we're doing this year, or sorry, this month for, and I'll tell you, I showed them when we did our balloon blast. They're really, really cool. The coasters and the big desk pads are huge, and the blankets are amazing. They were kind of spendy, but I was like, okay, I can see why, because they're worth it. So check out the promotions that we're doing, get a goal, and then just remember, we're right around the corner from a brand new seminar year where everything resets to zero. So like, what do you want to create in your life, and how can Mary Kay help you get it? All right. So I'm gonna let you go for now.
I think Celeste had a question too.
Oh, okay. Let me look back on here again.
She had her hand raised.
I still.
Honestly,
yeah.
it was just more of like a comment to just say like, this is one of those like meetings where I'm so happy I joined and was able to join, because this was like definitely what I needed to hear. And like, I was like privately texting Heidi, and I'm like, this is what I needed. Like, this is exactly what I needed today. Like, I genuinely feel like I need to start on getting onto a daily routine. And this has just been honestly amazing, Denise. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Well, both you and Sam and Rebecca have new babies, and that does create a completely different, you know, it changes your life. So then it's about kind of going back in and recreating a structure that's going to work for you, especially if you're still working, and, you know, all the things around baby and all that kind of thing. So, oh, Heather has a new baby too. Okay, lots of new babies. awesome. So, these are things, and I've done it with, raising my stepkids and then 10 years later having Jesse, and I was already a Cadillac director at that point. But when I started in Mary Kay, I had Brian full-time, Matt part-time, and then Jesse came along. And so all of this was working around all of that and having dinner on the table every night and going to the cabin on the weekends and entertaining and doing all the things that I was doing in my former life. And so we're all going through lots of changes in different phases of life, but Mary Kay is there for you and you get to shift with it. So excited about all the babies and just really about what we're building over time and taking Mary Kay's opportunity and keeping it relevant and alive for future generations. And so these are some of the ways that we can do it and then thrive at the same time in our personal lives. All right. All right, you guys, thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful, fantastic night. And I'm going to actually be kind of posting on the Voxer group the little countdown, as probably Kelly and Heidi will, about what we're needing to reach the goals for the end of June. And congratulations for what's already happened so far. Have a great night, everybody. Love you all.
Bye.
Bye.
Night.
Bye.
Feel better.
Good night.
Good night.